Can you talk for me?
I can talk to you and I can tell you whatever you want to hear.
Okay, just name.
Okay, you can tell me then.
Tell her or tell me you're fine.
I think so.
Shastina, is there life after birth?
Alright, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I went to school with this guy in Glendale, California, and he was the funniest guy. He was like Art Carney kind of personality, and he always keep you laughing. And he talked to me about this true story that actually happened when he worked at the His Clinic downtown in Los Angeles, and there was a cafeteria at that time. Trying to think of it, can't think of it right now, the name of it. But anyway, he went over there for lunch. He had a 30-minute lunch break, so he went over there, and it was a cafeteria, so he got in line, and he told the girl, he says, "Now I want some of that roast beef over there." And she says, "Well, did you have breakfast?" He said, "Well, yeah, I've had breakfast." She said, "Well, you can't have any roast beef then." He says, "What do you mean I can't have any roast beef? I want a roast beef. I'm hungry." She says, "Look, if you've had breakfast, you got to obey the rules. You can't have any roast beef." He says, "But I want some roast beef. I don't see any reason why I can't have it." She says, "You want to cause trouble? I'm going to call a manager." He says, "I don't care who you call. I want some of that roast beef." So she rings for the manager. The manager comes over and says, "Well, now what's the problem?" She says, "This fellow had breakfast. Now he wants some roast beef." And the manager grabs him by the arm. He says, "Why can't you obey the rules here? Come on back to my office. I want to talk to you." So Flanders was the guy's name, and he said, "I thought I was going crazy." And so anyway, he went back into the manager's office, and the manager proceeded to lecture him, saying, "Why don't you obey the rules? Do what everybody else does." And so he says, after about 10 minutes of the lecture, he says, the door opened, and in come a busboy. He said, "Well, I happened to notice when I came down from my office, I was still wearing my smock, the same that the busboy had." He says, "I told the guy, look, I don't work here." He says, "I'm a doctor up the street." So the doctor apologized. "Oh, sorry, you can have some roast beef." And they took him out and gave him some roast beef. And that was a true story. I wrote it to Reader's Digest, but they didn't accept it. They didn't think it was very funny. I guess I didn't write it right or something, but I thought it was very funny. So what else would you like me to talk about?
Can you tell the fly joke again?
The flag?
The fly. Fly joke again.
Oh, that's an old story. It's a guy was in prison for life, and he got out after 25 years.